Hi everyone, my name is Siamak Paulson and welcome to another episode of my podcast. In this episode, I have a special guest. Goran Erak is my guest today. Welcome, Goran.
Thank you.
A long flight from the UK
Yes.
to Brisbane, Australia this morning. So we're going to chat about interesting topics today. So I'm pretty sure the audience will also enjoy this conversation. Let's just start similar to my other episodes. Goran, I always ask my guests to explain a little bit about your background. You know, where did you start? How did you end up in the industry that you work in today?
Thank you. Well, I'm a civil engineer with a master's in hydraulics, and initially I started as a design engineer working for a water authority, designing water treatment works, sewage treatment works, until I bumped into the world of geosynthetics, which is also drainage related, but we started a long time ago, 30 years ago, with first production, but because the owner of the business was also a civil engineer, we never wanted to be just manufacturers. We wanted to provide service, to provide design solutions, and that's the strategy we kept throughout the decades within the AVG. So we grew over the many years, but I got involved with more complex environmental projects requiring various geosynthetic solutions. And on the way, we constantly developed various systems and new ideas, and this was always the strategy of AVG to innovation. So now we are quite a global company, and I have a team of engineers working in a design office back in the UK, doing a lot of calculations, and everything we do has got professional indemnity insurance cover globally. So we are quite experienced with the number of calculations that we do directly, either for contractors or for consultancies. All calculations that we do are product specific, so that's quite helpful for consultancies because we have quite a lot of data that is necessary to carry out the calculations. Also, we do awful lot of testing, and we spend quite a lot of time and effort into investing into research and development. We are quite global company. We have distributors from, of course, Europe, which is very close to us, but we also have distributors in Dubai for Middle East, in Hong Kong, in South Africa, and the latest one is our distributor Certex in Australia and New Zealand. We also deal with quite big projects in America, but we don't have distributors there. We deal with that directly from UK. So it's quite a global reach of the company, and we are quite effective with what's going on currently in the world. It's difficult to ship materials around the world, but we somehow manage. We just completed 2 big installations in South Africa and Australia. So it's a bit more difficult, but it's still working okay.
Just have to somehow adopt or justify the ins and outs of the business and the way the business operates in difficult times like we are in today. Excellent. That's very good. I guess as we were chatting before start recording, Goran, you mentioned geocomposite drainage system. So and I totally agree. I think we're talking about a system. It's not necessarily just one product. It's a solution that we have to look at it as a whole. Innovation, because you mentioned R&D in your explanation. Just wanted to ask you. So that's kind of what sort of R&D you do and what sort of innovation your company, your organization is involved with specifically with the geosynthetics and the geocomposite drainage systems?
Yes, we have a full range of geosynthetic materials, and that's quite important if we are providing a complete solution, design solution. We have the very substantial production capacity for the drainage geocomposites, which is required for the big jobs.
Yeah.
But we do have the range of all other products from geogrids, geotextiles, erosion control, that kind of thing. And since 3 years ago, we are part of a bigger group.
Okay.
There is a group of 5 companies manufacturing geosynthetic materials. In addition to ABG, we are based in UK.
Yeah.
We also have manufacturing plants in Belgium,
okay,
France, Spain, and Hungary.
All right.
So it's quite a large production capacity that we have within the group.
Yeah.
And we all work together. And even before we became part of the same group, for example, we were for more than 20 years using the textiles manufactured in Belgium, for example.
Yes,
it's just coincidence that now we are part of the same group.
That's right.
Research and development was always very important for us, because our strategy was always to push innovation, to come up with better performance, better quality, and that's in line with what clients and engineers are expecting. They always look for improvements.
Exactly, yeah.
There was a number of properties that we managed to improve. For example, of course, with the geocomposite drainage, the most important is flow capacity.
Flow capacity.
So we did a lot of research and modeling, computer modeling and optimization of our drainage cores to achieve not only high flow capacity but also long-term compressive strength, which was always very important for the regulators. And we did awful lot of testing, not just in UK but in TRI, in Texas, and other laboratories to establish long-term performance and provide evidence of the 100 years design life, which is very important for many countries, and especially with your regulations in Australia.
Correct, yeah.
So we are quite familiar with all the requirements in Australia, because we've been supplying this region for quite a while. We have quite a few completed projects.
Correct.
Here. In addition to long-term compressive strength and drainage, very often on landfill applications, stability of the slope is an issue. So we developed and patented some products that are giving enhanced friction angles.
Okay.
We developed that, and we are quite familiar with calculations, slope stability calculations, and that was very useful because we knew how to develop the system to improve it. So I'm talking about good interface friction with the cover material, good interface friction with your membranes, and also very high internal strength, shear strength of the product. So altogether, that's enabling much more cost-effective designs.
Okay. Yeah.
Meaning minimizing the use of the geogrid, using that only when you have to.
Yes.
Rather than always, which was a very easy thing to do.
Correct, yeah.
And it's interesting to see how various countries and regions do their designs. Not everybody is doing it in the same way.
No.
But it's opportunity to learn from everybody, to pick up some good points and try to explain to some countries why something is not maybe the best practice.
That's right.
Yeah. So, but it's all interesting, and it's all part of the improvement, and we are trying to stay ahead with that product development, and we always have something new and some research going on. the last thing I would like to mention about innovation is protection of the geomembrane.
Yes.
That's also very important for regulators in all regions. And it's interesting to see how various countries measure that protection differently.
That's right, yeah.
So we have various testing standards in place. One is in Europe, you have ASTM in Australia, but they developed their own in South Africa, for example. And all these tests are trying to do the same, to quantify the protection efficiency.
That's right.
We can argue which one is better or more accurate, but the system testing standard in Europe was developed 20 years ago.
Yes.
And it's a fairly tough test, and it was deliberately made like that so that regulators are certain that membrane is protected.
Correct, yeah.
But I would say all others are equally good with slight modifications, But I'm pleased to say that we carried out all the tests with all the standards and we passed these tests. One thing to point out in connection with that is that very often protection of the membrane is viewed only through the thickness of the textile.
That's right, yeah.
The thicker the textile, the better protection. But it's not in our research, it's not necessarily always the case, because when we supply drainage geocomposite, everybody is associated that void with drainage, but it's actually very good protection as well.
Correct, yeah.
So that's very often overlooked, but when you submit your material for the protection efficiency test, they don't ask, is it a thick textile or do you submit the void, they just look for the result.
Yeah.
And if the result is okay, then you pass and you can be used on the project.
Right.
So there are a lot of variations, and interesting developments with geosynthetics always, but it's a continuous process in APG.
Exactly. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I agree. I think, research development, especially in geosynthetics, and like every conference I go, and there are conferences happening around the world almost every year, you see new things because the industry is evolving, new technology is being more and more used, and the other important point is, as you mentioned, is different design processes around the world and how everyone applies different design methodologies in their projects. I guess one thing you mentioned was a lot of research and development going into the long-term application or long-term, let's say, durability of the products of the solution, especially when we look at it in a landfill scenario, for example, or in a mining scenario, that there's always that environmental protection is quite important. The regulators want to make sure that the design actually meets those requirements. So I wanted to ask you about how do you see that in your work, the long-term applications such as in landfills and mining. How do you look at those?
Yeah, it's very important for regulators to have some test results to prove that long design life. And when we are doing research and developing any new products, it's not the process is not complete until we get results back, usually from TRI, where they carry out sim tests and long-term creep and that kind of thing, because until we can prove with these test results that we can achieve long-term design life, the product development is not complete.
That's right.
So we do quite a lot of these tests, and the other aspect of that is HPOIT test, which is also very important for regulators, and we can't use our geocomposite drain in any landfill mining without proving that. And this is very important, not just to regulators, but for consultancies as well, when they're specifying materials. Very often that would feature in a specification, that kind of property, And nowadays, I guess all manufacturers are trying to achieve that. It's interesting how the world is changing with regard to polymers and additives. What we used to use 20, 30 years ago, it's not the same anymore.
No.
I would say it's much better. The improvement in that, although it's still the same polymer, it's the product, the final product is much better than before. I'm saying that because I spoke to some engineers who are in the business for a long time.
Yes.
And who were finding certain materials failing 30 years ago, and the same polymers today are much, much better, and they're performing with a design life of 100 years easily.
Yeah.
I would say it's all to do with additives. So there is a huge improvement in that department.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, as you mentioned, like, in mining industry, for example, there are certain standards that require like 1,000-year longevity for certain parts of the design, or generally in landfills as well. Like, we want, because the baseliners are going to be buried, so we have to make sure that they are going to perform for long term. And one quote from Boyd Ramsey, my good friend, he mentioned this on my podcast sometime in the past, that it's like, when you look at a racing car, so it's not a normal car, it's a racing car, so every detail is going to be very important. And when it comes to designing this sort of long-term for these long-term applications, and very sensitive in terms of environmental protection, it's going to be a very critical task for an engineer to design with these products. My next question, Goran, is about maybe just we want to chat a little bit about capping systems. Essentially, we have lots of facilities that have been used for years and years, and now it comes to decommissioning phase or closure phase, and we want to properly cap and close the system. So you talk about an all-in-one sort of system for these applications. I just wanted to ask you if you can elaborate on what that is and how it works.
Yes, it's as the word is saying, all-in-one system, which is drainage and barrier in one geocomposite material, and it's developed basically for the sites where that would be beneficial because of various reasons. The cost was playing a big part in that kind of a design, and in a lot of applications that was the main reason why the consultant or the client opted for that system. The other reason is fast installation.
Yes,
because it's one layer rather than multiple layers. Also, this is not the same product as a geocomposite. We had to improve various aspects and the properties of the system to meet regulation. But we started about 10, 13 years ago, slowly, but it's picking up now. And when I say that, it's picking up globally in various countries. We just completed a project in South Africa, and now the first project in Australia, in Victoria, where we were working with regulators, to meet their requirements, and they were happy with it, and we are hoping that that's gonna open the door for some other applications in Australia, because it was the first good, successful installation in Melbourne, and the council was very happy with savings that they achieved. The regulator was happy with the quality of the material. We passed all the tests, and it was a combination of manufacturing quality control tests and conformance testing on site. So we combined the both, so that the regulator was happy with the quality, and we passed everything. And when we are supplying something from UK, we can't afford to fail, because we can't send the material back. So we check and make sure that everything will pass, and that was the case.
Yeah.
So this was very successful, and of course we have installations in Europe as well, and all of the some of these installations are not always landfill. You had a few in mining with all-in-one capping, including Africa, for example. But we supply an awful lot of this system to contaminated land as well. Where it's also very cost-effective way to develop land, and it's really picking up now, and we have a lot of inquiries about that system.
Exactly. Yeah. Excellent. So yeah, as my final question for this conversation, Goran, going back to your career and obviously the work that you've done in this industry, the question is about the highlight. So what do you think that highlight is, and why?
Yeah, it was quite a long time for me in ABG, and I've seen various phases and went through quite a lot of R&D and working with various universities, and it was always opportunity for me to learn from various professors, and to see how they are trying to improve things, but also they had some amazing equipment for testing, that we used, and this was a process that was gradually bringing us to this level where we are today. And it was very good to see the results of all that work that was resulting in some of the systems I mentioned. Now, I didn't mention a few other sectors, like for example, we are quite involved in tunneling and drainage. We supply a few tunnels here in Australia as well. And we also have research and development there, and some patents as well. But it's also drainage related.
That's right.
So it's just working more with concrete rather than soil. That's the difference. But it's also interesting research and development with universities, where we manage to solve some problems, and again, it's cost-effective solutions again. It's always coming back to that. If you're too expensive, nobody will consider your solution.
That's right.
So if some saving is involved, you're interesting. So I think to see that result, not just in Europe but globally, is the important thing after investing so much time and effort. And we are not stopping here. We are still pushing with further patents. We have few on the go as well. So I think that's what makes this whole job interesting.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No, I exactly understand what it's just an evolving industry, and being able to see how the industry grows and sort of you open new doors and new products, bringing new solutions, and the cost effectiveness, as you mentioned, lots of sustainability benefits of geosynthetics. That has been something that the industry has been trying to promote as well. So yeah, it's a great place to be. All right, thanks, and this is what we have time for today. Goran, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And we catch up with our audience in our next episode. Thank you.